Hello everyone, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to this late October edition of Missoula Live. My co-host Kim Anderson has the same cold I'm just getting over, so that's why my voice might be a little raspy. And Kim, we hope you feel better and get back to the show really soon. I have a little bit of MCAT info to share with you. The top news story is Saturday Animation Drop-In is back. This program is designed for kids that are ages 9 to 13, thereabouts. That's our age cohort. And it's available every Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. The program was made free for middle schoolers from Lowell and Washington School, and they can come for free. All right, so if you're not lucky enough to go to those schools, it's $10 for the 4 hours. If you want more information, give us a call at MCAT. The number is 542-6228. We can tell you more about what they do. A lot of Lego stop animation. And during this cable cast, Scott in the back booth there, he's going to show you a lot of PSAs, give you a little bit of a taste for it. The other thing I would mention is a big shout out of thanks to Scott Ramp and Neil Wells and their crew of high school students who have brought high school sports to the MCAT lineup this past fall. They've done about 2 volleyball games, they've done about 8 football games. Every Friday they've done a football game, and then again on some Thursdays. And the last game, these games have been transmitted live on our Facebook page, and they're at 7 o'clock. And they've braved the weather to do this, and they've been very popular. The football games have been viewed about 32,000 times on Facebook since they were put up. So if you want to see the last one, that's going to be Friday. I wish I could tell you the date. Any clues? Guests? Mystery guests? He says 2 and 5, Friday, October 27th.
Yeah.
At 7. Okay, so that's enough from me. I want to welcome my guests, Rebecca Connors and Bradley Seaman. Thanks for coming from the elections office. And I've got a prop, because it is election season. I brought in my own ballot. And I brought this in partly so folks at home would know what they should have seen in the mail, right? These were mailed out on the 18th. So if you're watching and you haven't gotten something like this, it has the big MC. For homeowners, sometimes they will get scared because it means it's a tax bill. That's the other time they might see the MC. But this is joyfully large and offers choice in the local elections. So what do you guys have to say? Take it away.
Well, for this upcoming election, it is a municipal election. So
Right.
we've gotten a lot of calls in from people who live in East Missoula, Target Range, areas right on the edge of the city where maybe their neighbors are part of the city, but they're not.
Oh.
So we do a lot of calls out to people who are like, hey, I haven't seen my ballot yet, and we're happy to look it up just to make sure whether they live inside the city limits and are eligible, or, for example, some of the people we've looked up today who are just outside the city limits,
Great.
where their neighbors did get one, but they're not in this election.
Just like right across the line.
Yep.
Can people do that online if they want to determine, or is it best to call?
It's really easiest to call. We do have some interactive maps which will show what ward you're in, so
Okay.
you can look that up. But we've got a lot of staff on board right now for the election. We're ready to go, and it's really quick and easy for us to look that up.
Nice. And I want to say the number 258, but that's my first guess.
It is.
258-4751.
Okay, 258-4751 to find out if the place where you live is included in the city and whether you should have gotten a ballot or not. Now, what if people didn't get the ballot? Should they panic? Today is October 23rd, but we're going to show this every day, for 2 weeks. So,
Yeah, give us a call. We can see if maybe a ballot was sent to a dated address. Maybe you've moved. A lot of people, they know they need to register to vote, but they always forget if they moved or if they updated their information with the post office.
Yeah.
They think that all gets transmitted to our office, and it doesn't. So we can clarify what address that we have on file for you. See if you have an active status. So voters with an active status receive ballots during an all-mail ballot election.
Yeah.
And so if you have an inactive status, we can walk you through the ways that you can reactivate that status.
Can they rush out to the fairgrounds? So we were just saying before we started recording that a lot of old-timey Missoulians, they associate elections with the courthouse. Anything about the elections? Well, go down to the courthouse. Not the case anymore, right? Go to the fairgrounds for the election office.
Yeah, we have just found that while we may have had staff at the courthouse in previous elections, we would be able to issue ballots there, and someone would have to eventually go to the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
So we've just decided to move everything there when we have an election. It's one-stop shopping. We can get you registered. There's plenty of parking, and it's very accessible. It's central in town. We can get you in and out. We have a lot of staff who are looking for people to help.
Oh, that's great. And volunteers have come forward, like in the past, you've had election judges and so on. So you have a good string of volunteers helping with the elections.
We do, and but we're always looking for more help. We will be having training for election judges next year, and so we'll definitely be gearing up again. So that's something for people to keep in mind as they're marking their ballots this year. How can they help elections next year?
Nice. So here's mine, and I did already unseal it or whatever. So just to walk people through, they're going to find this envelope. That's the one they're going to mail it in or drop it off in. And then here's the privacy envelope for the ballot. And then here's the ballot. And then instructions.
And on the back of the instructions, there's a list of places where you can drop your ballot off on election
Handy.
day.
Okay.
So if it gets too close to election day and you're worried about the mail maybe not getting it to us,
Yeah.
all of these ballots must be received by 8 p.m. on election day.
Yeah.
And there's always been a bit of confusion about whether or not a postmark applies, and a postmark does not count.
It's got to
We
be
have to have it
received.
in our hands by 8 p.m. on election day.
Yeah.
So if it's coming up to that weekend or the day before and you can't make it out to the fairgrounds, you can always go to one of those drop-off locations on election day, any one of those drop-off locations, deposit your ballot, and know that your vote's going to get in time.
During the whole day or before 8 o'clock or,
7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So
okay,
it
so you
holds
still have to, if you say, oh, I'm right by Rattlesnake School on Pine View Drive, I'll get it there, but not 10 o'clock on election night prior to 8 p.m.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, that's good to know. And then some people, in the past anyway, here's, and I'll show people the procedure, but okay, this is the procedure. You mark your ballot, and there are resources, for instance, like a MCAT.org video on demand, and on our Facebook page, but you'd have to search for the videos. We've been able to have 3 different candidate forums. So one was held by the City of Missoula Office of Neighborhoods, for each of the 6 wards plus the mayoral race. The Missoula Downtown Association had a mayoral candidate debate, and so did City Club. So there's a number of places where you can see the candidates and hear their issues. Missoulian has archived their Q&A with candidates, and then you'll see, your ballot. It's to be marked in pencil or pen, does that matter?
Pen.
Pen, it matters, because a lot of people when they see those eggs, takes me back to like school with the pencils, number 2 pencil.
Pencil can be too light and the machine may not read it.
Okay.
So it does get kicked out and go to a board of election judges who then have to determine what the voter's intent is.
Oh, yeah.
And also, pencil creates dust, and that dust can build up in the voting machines.
Wonder what they did back in the day when we were all using number 2 pencils. So, and that's a lot of times kids had no idea, the pencils had numbers.
Yeah.
So pen is preferred, dear viewer. And once you've done that, and it's not going to be too taxing, I think most people have 3 choices, their ward candidate, their mayor, and their municipal judge. So you take that completed ballot. You don't write your name on this ballot. This is
right.
your chance to be anonymous but participatory. Then you seal it in the blue envelope. But wait, you're not done yet, right? So then the bigger envelope, you put it, this one that doesn't have your name, that retains your anonymity, you put that one in this bigger one. And here's an important part, though, to validate the ballot with your signature on the outside.
And that's what we call the affirmation envelope. It affirms that you're the person that ballot was issued to, that you're the signer of the ballot who it belongs to.
Right. And then it has this kind of barcode and stuff. It has my name and address on it, so that should match. If you're sharing a household with adults, you should make sure, if they're all open, that the signature and the name are the same. So you got to get the right envelope.
Yeah.
Now, having done all that, might one worry that a single stamp isn't going to do it?
For this election, one stamp will get it into us, no problem.
Okay.
And then, if we ever have a bigger ballot, we always update those instructions to kind of help list how much.
So in the
press is
past,
needed.
have there been multiple stamp?
Primaries is typically where we
Yeah.
see it. It's usually about 69 cents to return a primary ballot because you have to return the unvoted ballot and the voted ballot in a primary.
Oh, wow, yeah. Okay. So this is the thing. You could put a single stamp on it and put it in the mailbox. It has to be received in the typical carry time, 48 hours.
Typically, yeah, within Missoula.
Monday might be a little chancy if you're going to use the mail. Monday, November 6th might be a little chancy. But there's all this drop-off stuff. And at the fairgrounds at the Election Center, Building 15, you have that drop-off. Or is that out by the gate, the drop-off?
Yeah, so on the Thursday before the election, we will have drive-through ballot drop-off. I think that's November 2nd, 9
Yeah.
a.m. to 5:30. So if you still have your ballot, you can do the drive-through. You don't even have to get out of the car. But there is a 24/7 mail slot at the fairgrounds where you can come in during the weekends or after hours and
Yeah.
deposit that ballot to our office directly.
Right. And then a mail-in ballot, I don't know if you guys know the answer. I thought I had read somewhere mail-in ballots have a higher range of participation than when people have to go to the polling, a live versus mail-in or something. But I don't know. You might know.
They do.
You know the business.
Vicki, the previous election administrator, started in 2007 doing mail ballot elections for local elections. She was starting to see about 13% voter turnout for a poll election for the municipal. And now we see the 2013 municipal election, that the mayor was on the ballot. We had 43% voter turnout. So that has definitely helped
Wow.
increase voter turnout by
From
doing it all mail.
13% to 43% with the convenience of the mail-in ballot.
That's right.
That's shocking. And it's cheaper too, right?
There is cost savings because it doesn't require a ton of personnel to
Yeah.
conduct the election.
Yeah. Well, anything we did not cover
I think.
in our visit?
Really good, yeah.
Yeah. I'm learning a lot. I want to make sure people know the number. I don't know if Scott had an opportunity to post it. The 258.
4751.
Right.
And that'll get you right into the elections office. We keep those phones staffed by multiple people. So you
Yeah.
can call in, you can confirm, should I be getting a ballot?
Yeah.
Where did my ballot go?
Yeah.
If you've mailed it in, you're close to that.
Yeah.
You can check to see if we've processed it yet. Sometimes
It's
it
on the
takes-
website too. What's in that Where's My Ballot thing? Did I see that? Or is it not
Go
for
for it.
this election?
So my voter page,
Yes.
it's myvoterpagemt.com, only covers federal elections.
All right, never
So
mind.
just the primary and the general.
Yeah.
So the easiest way for a voter to be sure that it's come in is to either drop it off in person if you're really close to that date, or you can call us. It does take us a little bit of time to process them. So
Yeah.
as they're coming through the mail, we have to open them all. We scan every one of them in
Yeah.
and check the signatures on each of them. So it takes us a little bit to process. But you can always give our office a call. We have tons of friendly staff on board just to help answer, make sure that you get the opportunity to vote.
Nice. And we, brought up that Missoula County page we put in MissoulaVotes.com. If you don't want to go through all the county stuff, because there's a lot of forward slash. All right, I guess we better go because Scott did that. So he's going to show you a PSA, and we'll be right back with former MCAT employee Josh Meny, who's got some exciting news about a new career opportunity for him. So we'll be right back.
Hey, how's it going over? Oh, have a good day. Oh, huh, I didn't see you over there. What a nice day to be out and about today. But I want to tell you something about what's going on here. Hold on a second. Let me just adjust this. Okay, there you go. Let me talk about MCAT. MCAT is doing Saturday drop-ins starting every Saturday this fall, winter, and spring season from 1 to 5 p.m. Let's go check it out. Come on. MCAT is a great way to create. All you gotta do is come on down to our location at 500 North Higgins. It's as easy as that. See you there.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Nobody plans on getting a brain injury. When it happened to me, I didn't know where to turn.
When my son suffered a brain injury, the Brain Injury Alliance of Montana was there for us. I take comfort in knowing they will be there for him his entire life.
The Brain Injury Alliance of Montana is the only organization in the state dedicated exclusively to assisting survivors and caregivers. Visit our website to learn more about our services and how you can help.
Missoula Community Access Television works with kids in an active learning environment where they get hands-on experience in video production. MCAT offers weekly Saturday classes that spark creativity in kids from 9 to 13 years of age. Located downtown at 500 North Higgins. Okay, we are back with Josh Meny. Welcome, and thank you for taking the time to be on the show on your way to your new job.
Yes, thanks, Joel, for having me here. We're here. What do we call the show now? Is it still
It's Missoula Live.
Okay, but the name has changed since I was here.
Yeah, so that's a great opportunity to talk about change. So, dear viewer, I've asked Josh to come on because he is a former MCAT employee who moved on to broadcast world in Great Falls.
KRTV, yeah.
KRTV in Great Falls, where you worked the last year or so.
Yep, the last year, yeah.
And now you're moving on to Lafayette, to
Yeah,
Louisiana.
Lafayette, like Laffy Taffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I had to. Someone told me that too, by the way. Yeah, so I was at KRTV for a year, but before that, I was at Dakota Media Access, which was a community government access, center like here, and I learned a lot there, and but also, that the Dakota Access Pipeline protest was happening nearby to where I was working in Bismarck, North Dakota, and kind of got there, did some shooting, just gave the footage away to MSNBC, and just decided, hey, I need to try to get back into the news world because it's really exciting. I love it, and so I actually called the executive producer here in Missoula at KPAX, and she referred me to the news director at KRTV in Great Falls, and that's kind of that's the short story, but yeah. And I've been
That's
there.
right, I almost forgot about Dakota Media Access.
Yeah, and basically, I wouldn't have been working at Dakota Media Access had I not worked here first. And so when I was in Missoula for 3 years, and I worked part-time at KPAX, and then part-time here.
Yeah, that's right. And then you and Scott Noel were part of the Wake Up Missoula show.
Yeah.
And you did some specials on your own here, too.
I did, yeah. I had a show here, and called Missoula Current, which I understand there's another organization out there that's...
Yeah, a wonderful news organization. Martin Kidston, who had worked for the Missoulian, began his own online news service for Missoula called Missoula Current.
Okay, well, Martin, if you're watching, or if you find this clip somewhere, just contact me, because I still have my Missoula Current Facebook page up, and I think
get that
people are
figured
subscribing
out.
because they think it's his thing, and then,
Oh, interesting.
which I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I caught it. I came up with the name first, but anyway, you know, I obviously he's got like a legit thing going on, so
Oh, it's wonderful.
I don't
It
want to
really
be.
is.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I don't, but yeah, I worked here, and it was MCAT when I was here. I guess MCAT.org. You've kept the.
Yes, we're moving to Missoula's Community Media Resource as a rebranding. Part of the reason is because we're moving to the Missoula Public Library when the new library is built. And we're going to expand some of the opportunities for users of MCAT, well, because there's going to be the Children's Museum in partnership with us, a program for family education called Families First, associated with Children's Museum, and the University of Montana Spectrum Science Discovery Center. So, for instance, right now, MCAT, we have a virtual reality set up. Oh, you used that when you were in
tried
town.
it. Yeah, I tried it out here.
And we're offering animation workshops for kids. We've expanded our summer camps from 3 to 8 in the summer season. And we're giving high school students this opportunity to cover high school sports like volleyball, football, and hopefully basketball.
Yeah, I've caught some of your live games. Those are actually really professional. I'm
Looking good,
impressed.
right?
Yeah,
I was too.
looking
I was
good,
like,
and you've got
oh.
like sports announcers and.
Yeah, they're really dedicated to
Yeah.
setting all those guys.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not going to keep you. I know you got tons of things to do, and I really appreciate you coming on so you're on our archive.
Great.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just fantastic, and I guess I'll just say like public access, community access, government access. No, you're gonna still keep the government access.
Oh
component?
yeah. People really count on us. Now we're doing 23 boards and commissions.
Okay, so before I go, I just want to say, community government access, especially community access, is a great way for people who are kind of like figuring out their media career to start.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned crucial information, knowledge that I'm using now in my professional broadcasting career. So I'll just say to any young folks out there, any kids who are even after I started here after graduate school. So,
That's right.
Any young kids starting their career, young adults starting their career, I mean, really check out Missoula's Community Media Resource. It's the real deal, and I mean you can learn a lot to get started. And in fact, I was back there, I think, on an episode of Missoula Live when I decided, hey, I love this. I love this broadcasting live feel. You had the IFB in. I think that I was assistant technical directing. Scott was probably back there talking with you. Anyway, I won't ramble on anymore because I know you have more guests.
It's really kind of you to say all that, but I think you're right. For young people that are trying to figure out their place in the media world, or if there is one, there's so much freedom, for failure, if nothing else, in the world of public access, but also to take on different roles and see what might suit them. So I appreciate the plug, Josh.
Yeah, great. Well, it was great seeing you, Joel.
Yeah, and congratulations and best of luck. So you guys will be right back with another guest from the nonprofit world. I'm trying to imagine who it is, but you watch this and you'll see when we come right back.
Ranchers are the stewards of Montana's great grasslands and wetlands. Ducks Unlimited works with ranchers on conservation programs to improve cattle production and wildlife habitat. Montana is the nation's third largest waterfowl producer. Ducks Unlimited promotes working lands programs that help keep ranchers on the land while improving habitat for wildlife and Montana's outdoors people. To learn more about conservation and Ducks Unlimited, visit www.ducks.org/Montana.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome, my friends, to Missoula Community Access Television, MCAT. And here every Saturday afternoon, we're having a drop-in animation camp, and where you can do such wonderful things as do animating things of great all endeavors, like make Legos come to life. Or like this! Just do that. It'll be amazing. Here at MCAT, 500 North Aiken, Suite 105, every Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.
What do you wish for? A nice life? Nice things? Or do you wish for something more? A sense of purpose? Do you wish to discover a cure?
Oh goodness, we're back with Trey Locker-Reardon. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Joel, for having me here.
Oh, you're
again.
most welcome. So Irish Studies has got an event coming up.
We do. We seem to have events coming up all the time.
Yeah.
And this one, of course, ties into the history of the Irish in Montana. As you probably know, the Irish of Montana played a very, very prominent and significant role in the fight for Irish freedom.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and Montana was seen as one of the, well, Butte, Montana, and Anaconda. That area there was seen as one of the great 5 Irish-American cities in the whole country. But anyway, the event relates to an incident that happened during the 1916 Rising. Francis Sheehy Skeffington, a well-known and committed pacifist, was arrested by the British, put up against the wall, and shot.
Yeah.
It was like pacifism, it was
Just
a
like
capital
that.
offense in Ireland. His wife, a very formidable lady, feminist, suffragist, demanded justice. She didn't get justice. What she got was intimidation and threats.
Sure.
They also tried to bribe her, but Mrs. Sheehy Skeffington was made of sterner stuff. She says, I know how I'll soften their cough. I'll take my case to America. And to America she came.
Huh.
And as John Devoy, head of Clan na Gael, the greatest Irish nationalist organization at the time, said she did more good the time that she was out here than 25 years of speakers and writers had done before her.
That's
She
great.
actually came down here to Montana, went to Butte, and Anaconda, and received a tumultuous welcome down there, as you would expect.
Yeah.
You know, so her daughter now is coming out.
So this is the daughter of the very same lady?
Granddaughter, sorry, her
Granddaughter.
granddaughter.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
I guess it's going back too far with 1917.
Yeah, so this is going to be a very, very interesting lecture, you know, and it's always important to remind the role that the Irish of Montana played in the history of Ireland. I mean, it's a shared history. We talk about the history of Montana, history of Ireland. Well, hang on a second. This is a shared history.
Yeah.
I mean, to really understand what happens in Ireland, you have to bring in the history of the Irish of America.
Because there's so many times, right, where events in Europe are taking the case against American isolationism.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we don't want to know.
Yeah.
Like, think of the First World War. U.S. decides, okay, it's been about 3 years, maybe we'll participate in
Time
this.
to go to Europe, yeah.
So this is really interesting that after her husband is assassinated,
Yeah.
she comes to the U.S. and says, this is what's going on with Irish independence. This is where we stand, and this is how the British are treating the Catholic Irish people.
That's exactly it. And she wasn't the first. I mean, Charles Stuart Parnell was the first to come out here. He set up the Home Rule movement.
Yeah.
And again, it was the Irish of America, particularly John Devoy and those who were in Clan na Gael, that opened the doors of America to him and helped organize it in such a way he addressed joint sessions of Congress, which was very, very, very rare at those times. And he went back to Ireland with $300,000 stuffed in his back pocket, and that was the money that has helped set up the Home Rule movement in Ireland.
Gosh, what a struggle it's been. That's extraordinary when you think of the
It goes on
struggle
and
of the
on.
Irish Home Rule movement.
It
My
goes on
God.
and on. And I mean, even in our own lifetime, I look at Irish studies and the struggles that we're going through at the moment, as you
Yeah.
know, with the university
That's
and
right.
so forth. But like the thing about it is, this is all part of our history, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, if we got too many fair weather days, we start to get worried.
That's
What's
it.
happening around here? Have we reached the end of the world or something?
You know, I get fat and lazy, it's too soon.
Exactly.
Maybe 2 years from now, it'll be okay for both of us. Well, this is a free public lecture at the UM Del Brown Room on Monday, October 30th at 7 p.m. And they're not going to wear you out, it's 90 minutes.
Well, it'll be about an hour, 45 minutes, where we, you know, we had it for 90 minutes because I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions.
Yeah, afterwards.
Yeah, I'm convinced we will have an awful lot of questions, actually.
Well, this is a wonderful opportunity to take a key piece of Irish history right here in Missoula on that Monday. And it's up at university, but the parking is bearable after 7, right?
It is,
then you
yeah.
can park where you want to park.
It is. And the great thing about it too, you see, we are going out to talk about an event that happened 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And you have an awful lot of people here in Montana of Irish heritage whose grandparents or great-grandparents would have been out.
Yeah.
Hannah Sheehy Skefflin came to Montana in 1917.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. And this is sponsored by Irish Studies Program, the Butte Silver Bow Archives, Friends of Irish Studies, the Ancient Order of Hibernians, and generosity of Sam and Julie Baldridge.
Baldridge, yeah.
Yeah. And is there anything, viewers, you know, that you've been on this program quite a bit, and so what we're referring to is the Irish Studies with the cutbacks at there's a possibility there's going to be something happening there. Is there something viewers can do to help?
Well, continue to give us their support as they
Yeah.
have done, you know, over the years. And I think one of the great strengths of our Irish Studies program is the amount of community support we have. We would not have the program we have without the community. We're very, very fortunate that we have such a committed community.
I mean, you guys have had
university.
fundraisers after fundraisers. I mean, the Christmas shows.
Yeah, we
all
have.
this stuff.
Yeah, we have, and they've always been very successful. And I mean, not just in terms of the financial side, but in terms of introducing the students and the community like to Irish culture. So Irish culture has a much more prominent place today in Montana than maybe it did, you know, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to go back 70 years to find anything quite as strong. You know, the culture of Montana from the 1880s, 90s, right through to the time, probably the Second World War, was very, very rich and very robust. But then there was a lull, and then from the 90s onwards, it starts to re-emerge. And the Irish Studies program, the community, the different organizations like the Friends of Irish Studies, and I would encourage people to join the Friends of Irish Studies because they are.
They can find that on the Facebook, right?
They can, yeah. You can go to friendsofirishstudies.com because they are the main donors to the Irish Studies program. And they're the ones that are helping us now to do other things as well, like community outreach and school outreach. We're reaching out to the schools now, and we're trying to get make presentations in the schools about Irish history, and specifically the Irish history of Montana and how important it is. We've had some of the great historical figures of Irish history here in Montana. I mean, Thomas Francis Maher, you know, Marcus Daly. I mean, you don't come along, Mike Mansfield. These are all Montana people.
Yeah. And when you think of Butte, you know, and that incredible rich history with that copper mine.
Yeah, and how prominent it is. But even look at our Irish Studies program as well. I mean, it's the largest one west of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I was talking to a representative of the Irish government there recently. He was talking about Irish Studies and how important they are. And he was saying the way the Irish government views Irish Studies in America is like this. As far as they're concerned, the East Coast is served by the Irish Studies programs in Boston College and at NYU. The Midwest is served by the Irish Studies program at Notre Dame. And then the Irish Studies program at University of Montana serves the rest of America.
Yeah, that's right. It's big territory out here, you know.
It is. But I mean, it was kind of the way he looked at it too. It was more national as opposed to regional.
Yeah.
You know, but it'll give you an indication of the kind of stature that the Irish Studies program in Montana. You wouldn't think it's just in Montana. Well, it speaks a lot about the university and what a great university is, and about the community.
Yeah.
And sometimes in these troubled times in particular, we forget what a resource, you know. You know, you look at Montana, and we talk about our resources in terms of our mountains and our rivers and our lakes, but we look at our universities. I mean, we have one of our greatest resources in our educational system.
Oh, yeah.
And there are a lot of kids outside of Montana who would come here, you know, if we were to promote our educational system in our universities like we promote some of our other, you know, and rightly so, beautiful resources and great resources.
Well, thank you. I know I have to move along because I'm tardy, but once again, dear viewer, the lecture is Monday, October 30th on University of Montana campus in the Dell Brown room. It is free, and I would urge you to attend. Well, Treylock, good luck, and thank you so much for being here.
My friend.
So we'll be right back, Joe, Martinez is here from MCT. We'll visit with him right after this. Well.
It's awfully quiet out there. What do you think of the wolf pack, Missoula?
Hey, you guys, we're back with Joe Martinez. He's the artistic director of the Missoula Community Theater, widely known as the Missoula Children's Theater. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming by. So it's a pretty exciting season coming up. I was having dinner with friends, and the daughter of one of the people there said, "Oh, you gotta come see Mamma Mia. Their daughter is in it."
Okay.
And they, but they said, you know, the play has got great reviews and great potential.
Yeah, well, if
regardless.
you know it, if you know Mamma Mia, you know it's all based on the ABBA music.
Right.
So you know, if you're an ABBA fan, this is the show to come to.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And it, you know, it's I saw the show. I hate to say it, maybe 8 times on Broadway.
Oh, wow.
You know, just because it's so infectious and the music is so infectious. And there's a story there, you know, there's a story, but it's really about just getting to that song and
Getting to the ABBA music.
Getting to that ABBA music. And there's 26 songs in the show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Yeah, it's exciting, and you know they're working hard. They open this week.
Yeah, and I saw, I got a press release here this afternoon. It said, you know, Thursday for the grand opening, there's some tickets available.
Yeah, you know, we have, we usually run our shows about 2 weeks, so 13 performances. And we didn't even think about, you know, this one. Opening the season sounded like a great season opener and something fun.
Yeah.
But we didn't realize how popular it was going to be. So, you know, we have limited seats available for our normal run.
Yeah.
So they opened up Thursday, and it's a little higher price. You get dessert and a drink.
Right.
With the show, you know, on I'm not sure what the price is right now, but I think
60-ish, something like that.
$50, $60, I believe is what it was.
And then you would get that kind of gala opening type treatment. Or if you felt big, and some people do, you could pay $125 and take a $90 tax deductible donation to the community theater.
Yeah, and that's amazing, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, that $125 ticket for this Thursday gets you dinner,
right,
plus the show, and then dessert and drinks. And
oh, wow, dinner and a show.
Dinner and a show, yeah. So
yeah.
It's, you know, hors d'oeuvres and heavy hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a really nice evening, so.
That's,
yeah,
I would recommend people do that if they have the dough.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it's going to be hard to get tickets. So I had said to my dinner companions, "Oh, your daughter's in it, Lorene." And I was like, "I've got to see it." And she's like, "Oh, you better do it fast because apparently people know the show."
People know
and
the show.
They're going in droves.
Yeah, they are. And, you know, that's exciting for us. It's very exciting for us. And, you know, it's going to set a standard for the rest of our season, hopefully, you know. And
well, a darn high one, right?
Yeah.
Now, young Scott is in the Christmas Carol musical, right?
Musical. Yeah, that's coming up, obviously, at Christmas.
Yeah, good idea.
Friday. Yeah, exactly. It opens the week after Thanksgiving. And, you know, that's a show that is near and dear to my heart. It's not it's your typical Christmas Carol story, your characters. But it's a musical. It's written by Alan Menken, who wrote Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so the music is familiar, but you don't know it. But it sounds very familiar, and it's This is probably the 6th time I've directed the show from different theater companies. I've directed the show because I love it so much. And it was like, when we picked the season, it was like, I really want to share this story with the Missoula community because it is it's such a beautiful story, And I said, I don't think of it as a Christmas story. I think of it as, it's kind of scary. It's kind of like a Halloween.
Oh, like a spooky kind of thing. Even with the music in it?
Even with the music.
Or maybe that adds to it.
It adds to it a little bit, yeah. It kind of just adds that environment of, it's all underscored. It's all, pretty much all sung. There's not a lot of dialogue in it, And so just having that music throughout, it just kind
there
of
is some element.
Yeah.
I could see that, and because when you think of the Dickens, the way it operates, it's kind of like you could call it Scared Straight in a way, because what happens, to Scrooge is that he sort of sees this loveless life for its implication, but the ghost of Marley, he's there to warn him.
He's there to warn him.
He's like, look at these, he wears the chains, he did something in life. Well, it's not forged. I wear the chains I forged in life.
Yeah. And so Marley visits him and all
the ghost of it's a ghost story.
Present, past and future.
Yeah.
It's a ghost story, and so, but it's, it's not scary.
Think of Ignorance and Want. They always scare the dickens out of me when they appear under the road. Oh, yeah.
But exactly, but, and we were just rehearsing the scene the other night, and it's all these ghosts come to life with Jacob Marley. He brings all these other ghosts with him. And I said, we have to liken it to Disney's Haunted Mansion because it's kind of silly, but it's also just on that edge of being a little frightening, but it's still very silly.
Now, kids could stomach it, though.
Oh, yeah, very, very much so.
Oh, good, okay.
So, yeah,
because there's a version I love of the movie version with George C. Scott.
Yeah.
And when Marley's ghost leaves out the window, you see in the London night landscape all these ghosts that were too stingy, being the theme, right?
Exactly.
So that's populated by ghosts.
It really is, and so, so I'm excited about that as well. And, as I said, as you said, Mamma Mia has just kind of set the tone for us, and hopefully Christmas will kind of do that same thing.
Are those the two main productions then of the season?
Yeah, those are two main. And the end of the season, we do 5 shows with the community season, not to mention what we do with the kids.
Right.
But the community season, we have those 2. And then in January, we're doing a musical version of Happy Days.
Oh my goodness, that sounds cool.
It's very cool. It's those characters from the TV show.
Right.
The Fonz and Richie. And so that's our January show. And then the March show is Hitchcock's 39 Steps.
Oh, that's great.
So it's kind of fun, and then the end of the season, we're doing Disney's The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our big, it's a pretty big season.
Yeah, it is.
And then, as I just said with the kids, we just did the Lion King experience with older kids, and we're doing Willy Wonka right now with the kids, so it's just continuing.
You got a lot of stuff. And I would recommend, I bet Scott has shown, but I've been talking to you so avidly, the website, because often you guys will also offer camps during the holiday break, right? Where kids could kind of get into it a little more when they have that time.
Yeah, we have our camps going on. Also, Missoula County Public Schools have days off throughout the year.
Yeah, those PIR days.
PIR days. And so we have classes during those days as well, Plane a Day. What we call them. And the kids come from 8 until about 5:36.
Yeah.
And they spend the day with us, and they work on theater, and they put a little show on at the end for their parents when they pick them up. So we just kind of keep adding programs because it's just
it's working. It's just growing like a beautiful flower over there. I can't remember if I told you, and I guess we should go. But I lived right across from Central School before it was MCT,
really?
And I wouldn't, in my wildest imagination, have foreseen what it was to become today. Yeah, because the new section wasn't on it.
Exactly.
It was just this abandoned elementary school that, just like in an old movie, people would throw rocks at the windows. That was the thing.
Well, it's funny because I got here just about the time that they acquired it.
Yeah.
And I was working for them when I first got here, and we would rehearse in that space, and it was
it was like a ghost story.
It was like a ghost story. It was pretty disgusting inside. We would clean a couple rooms, and we would rehearse.
Yeah.
So,
well, congratulations. Exciting. That's something.
Thank you.
It's nice to have the long view sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
I think about that. You know, we did the homecoming parade, and I was like, gosh, this is the 16th year we've done the homecoming parade. But in a way, there's something both wearying
Yes,
and
exactly.
nice.
And nice about it.
Yeah.
Because you know that longevity, you know.
Yeah, there's some
kind of-
reward.
Yeah, there's a
some
reward.
overview.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for
thank you.
taking the time. You know it. And we'll be right back because I have 2 more guests, so I'm going to cram them in. Oh, no, there's 15 minutes in the show, so stay right there.
No text, no call. Nothing is worth losing a life over. Put it down. It can wait.
Tonight, along the Texas Gulf Coast, utter devastation. Harvey barreled ashore overnight, packing 130-mile-an-hour winds, blinding sheets of rain, and the treacherous storm surge.
Harvey can't mess with Texas. So donate now to help make Texas whole again.
So how was work?
It was 1,300 hours. My math class from 302 was in the trenches. Davy Roth had it the worst. Fractions were coming at him left and right. He just didn't get the damn things. 2 days ago, I tried to teach him what 1/4 of 1/2 was using different sizes of blocks. Yesterday, I tried again by dividing up pizza. Both missions failed.
Oh no.
But today, I was ready. I created a combat math game where the only way to beat the enemy is to out-fraction them. Davy conquered every last denominator.
Okay, we're back with Dave Atkins of Treesource. Welcome. Thanks for waiting to be on.
All right.
So
Pleasure.
it's new to me, and Leland Buck, who I remember from my Crystal Theater days, he came in and requested a live stream of your event coming up. And I said, gosh, what is Treesource? And I've forgotten what he said.
So we're new. That's why you haven't heard
Yeah.
of it. It's we're a new nonprofit. In fact, just got our nonprofit status.
Oh,
here
congratulations.
a couple months ago. Yes, that was a big score. And we are forest journalism for a sustainable future.
Okay.
So we focus on forests of all kinds, from urban to wilderness to production forests, and covering everything that we do in forests, from recreation, water that we drink, and all of those kinds of things. And so we're an online magazine.
Right. And Scott is showing you, see on the little TV
Yeah.
screen, he's showing, I guess, a website, which is also the online magazine?
Correct.
Okay.
And we have written stories, we do original pieces. We also aggregate stories from other sources and do some curation and post those, some audio stuff, video, as well as written stories.
Oh, that's brilliant. Because a lot of people around here are very concerned about the forests. I mean, we kind of live in it,
Yes,
right?
we do.
And we get some very painful, sometimes very beautiful reminders that we live in one of the largest forests in the country. And then, of course, this summer, pretty painful reminder that we live among one of the largest forests
Yes.
in the country.
And that's the forum we're having
Yeah, it sounded
tomorrow
really
evening,
intriguing.
is focusing on how do we live with fire.
Yeah.
And because we are always going to have fires that escape, so trying to stop all fires. And so on the panel, we've got some fire scientists from the Forestry Fire Lab that the U.S. Forest Service has, fire ecologists from the university, and then Bob Olson is a chemist professor, does research, and he actually flies through smoke columns to sample them,
Yeah.
these giant fires. And then Sarah Cofield from the county health department, because of the health effects of all the smoke. We've got a panelist that's an insurance agent in Sealy Lake.
great.
You know, and it's covering businesses and homes, and you know, that's was a scary time for those people being
really
evacuated.
very much so.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they started school at Paws Up. It was that bad, right?
Right.
People hadn't seen it that bad in a long time, and for outsiders, it's pretty interesting too. So this panel is at the UC, is it in the theater?
Yeah, UC
Okay.
Theater up on the 3rd floor, right.
Right, and is there a fee to attend it?
Nope, it's free to the public,
Okay.
and if you can't make it there, it can be, we're live streaming it on Facebook.
Yeah, apparently we're doing that
Yes,
for you
you
guys.
guys are.
Good.
And the other cool thing is with your technology, we'll be recording it
Yeah.
and then posting it to our YouTube site.
Oh,
so
that's
if
brilliant.
people have conflicts, they'll still be able
Mhm.
to listen and participate that way.
And I think, you know, this is really important. You guys have started this magazine, sounds really good, because it seems like, you know, whether people are going to attribute this to climate change or whatever other mechanism, I think a lot of long-term residents of Montana feel like we've turned a corner on fire season, that it has become, it has the potential of becoming much stronger, much more life interfering,
Right.
and much more of just a deal, however you want to term that.
Right.
That living in the forest is going to become much more of a deal, and it's not going away anytime soon. So it's not so much like that you guys are going to be this vanguard of solution, but people need to talk about it.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Like when something happens, people just want to talk about it. It doesn't mean like I've figured out how to cure all forest fires. Like I want to complain about the forest fire. I want to know what the insurance company is going to do. I want to know if thinning is any answer. So people want to kick around answers. And I was surprised, you know, the people that I would identify as left progressives, they were coming in and out of MCAT all summer saying, they got to do something about this. They got to go in there. And, you know, like they were saying, I'm ready to change my mind as a knee-jerk conservationist and saying, don't cut any forest. Like, now I want to cut into blocks if necessary.
And that to me is, you know, the sound bites and that emotional reaction.
Yes.
And so part of why we decided to host this and bring these panelists with scientists and practitioners
Yeah.
and, you know, the insurance people to have that conversation about what we can do, and that it's not this simple black and white
Yeah.
of, oh, you're going to go cut it all down and have these blocks. And at one of the people on the panel is going to have some nice slides to mix in there. And I should say that the panelists each are going to have 4 to 5 minutes to make some key points, and that'll all be done in the first hour. And the whole second hour is for questions and answers.
I think that's going to be good and purging for people. Or it's just you got to make it real, I think. When something like this gets so real and there's not enough in the newspaper, there's not enough informed discussion, there's a gap, and you guys are filling that gap.
Yeah, we really are excited about this role of doing kind of in-depth journalism covering this forest topic, and that, you know, it's important to a functioning democracy.
Yeah.
You know, it's the fourth estate of a democracy, so that the dialogue can go on and that information is out there from a variety of perspectives. And we see that as a very important thing, so that people can be informed as they talk with their county commissioners or state representatives or congressional representatives.
Yeah, that's great. I know we better go, but
Yep.
Dave, thank you so much for taking the time. And once again, the event is tomorrow night,
Right.
Tuesday, and it's at the University Theater on the 3rd floor, University
Right.
Center. And the time?
From 7 to 9, and there's
Right.
a reception at 6:30 for
Okay.
some coffee and cookies if people want to
Yeah, hang out. Oh, that's great. Well, thanks again. So I've got to bring out Karl Olson, Development Director at the Missoula Public Library. We're going to do that super fast because we're running out of time. Stay with us.
Your local library, igniting the passion for reading.
How would you like to have an endless supply of books, movies, music, audiobooks, and even ebooks whenever you want? Your library card can do all that, and it doesn't cost a thing. You can pick up a library card anytime the library is open, free of charge to residents. All you need is a picture ID with your current address. The library will then verify your address, and once they have, your library card will be good for life. Library card holders may borrow several items to enjoy all at once. Be sure to check the return dates, as they may vary depending on what items you check out. It's so easy to get access to all the library has to offer, and best of all, it's free. To learn more, stop by your local library or visit their website.
This message brought to you by the Greater Montana Foundation and the Montana State Library.
Sergeant Greg Amison with the Missoula Police Department. I'd like to talk a little bit about bicycles riding on the sidewalks in the city of Missoula, which we see a lot because Missoula is a very bike-friendly town. I would just like to let bicyclists know that they do have to yield to pedestrians on the sidewalk safely because they travel faster than a pedestrian, so they do have to do that in a safe manner. And then when you get to a crosswalk, you are actually required to slow your bicycle down to what would be called a pedestrian pace, and you cannot begin crossing until it's safe to do so.
First one, you know.
Oh, we're back. So we were just deciding. Here is Karl Olson, Development Director for the Missoula Public Library. Welcome. Thank you for coming. We were just talking about what we could talk about.
We were chatting.
I feel like we should talk about everything if you want to, because there is so much at the library, right? So we just finished the month of September was Learn About Your Library. The library had orchestrated 4 different Wednesday nights talking about how the new library was going to bring together all this stuff. But I thought, and that's when I asked someone to come over, there's so much going on right now, it's kind of shocking. So I've got, of what's going on, highlights of the library. Oh, that's the title. Beginning Computer Coding for Kids. Computer Fundamentals Computer Class, open hours in the makerspace, a writers group for middle school, a Lego club, a community, I guess for adults, writers workshop, a Tuesday night jewelry workshop, and then a second Tuesday book group, a Make It and Take It crafts event at the Big Sky branch, family story time, tiny tales for birth to 3-year-old, a watercolor painting class, Introduction to Reading and Writing Poetry. I mean, that's crazy.
Isn't it amazing? So, in case anyone has missed the memo.
Right.
Libraries are not only places where you access information.
Yeah.
You still do at a library, and many, many people do every day at Missoula Public Library. But they are also places where the information comes to life.
Right.
So you can go and get a book about famous paintings around the world, and you can take a painting class at the library simultaneously. So, this is what a library is nowadays. All the information and books are not, it's not just stored on a shelf. It all comes to life at your public library.
It's pretty amazing. It's pretty participatory, I guess, is that idea when you think of maker space and the things that people can do with that kind of crafting. And here's crafting castle creatures on October 28th. Sculpting clay to create creepy creatures in the children's department.
We have a fabulous new ceramic castle that an artist donated to the library. It's really fabulous.
I see a picture of it here, people at home. I guess you're going to have to go to the library.
You need to go to the library to see it, and it's in the children's area. And it's fabulous, but it's missing its inhabitants.
Oh, I see.
So the kids on the 28th, actually anyone, kids of all ages on the 28th, can go and create the inhabitants for this castle.
Oh, that sounds really great. And people, if you're watching, you've never been to the library, it's at 300 East Main Street for now. And the number is 721-BOOK. So that's not so hard. And there's so many things you can do at different hours that I recommend you go to MissoulaPublicLibrary.org, and Scott could show you this on the screen. And once there, well, he's jumped the gun. He's clicked already on newsletter. There's an archive, and you can click on October newsletter, and you can see everything that we see here with the specific times. Or if you just, something tickles your fancy, you're like, what about that watercolor class? You can call 721-BOOK, and somebody's going to tell you.
And you can also, through the website, go to a calendar that's done through Missoula Events.
Oh, that's right.
And see all of the library's events listed in a calendar format. If you're looking to fill a couple hours of your day at a certain time of the day.
Yeah, and jewelry making workshops in the evening. There's still, it seems like you're going to have to hitch a ride on jewelry maybe another month, because it was the 3rd, the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, like tomorrow night, and then Halloween night.
Well, all those classes and workshops are done every month. Like they're constantly cycling through all the computer classes, makerspace, all of that. Writing workshops are constantly happening at the library.
Oh, I guess we have 1 minute.
1 minute? Oh my God.
After you waited all that time, and I apologize.
So can we talk real quick about Raising Missoula's Spirits?
Yes,
At the end of this month. The first program is tomorrow on the 24th, where they will look at the archaeology of the new library block where we'll be moving. We've had archaeologists studying that spot. And then on the 28th, History and Hauntings in the Last Best Place with a historian from Helena, Ellen Baumler. And then on the 30th, Tortured Souls Investigations is going to talk about the paranormal and the work that they do. So coming up real soon here at the end of the month, we've got some cool Halloween-y themed programs.
Yeah, and these are all free in the large meeting room at the Missoula Public Library.
Yep.
Well, Karl, thanks so much.
Sure.
And I hope to get you back on soon. We do the show every 2 weeks. Someone from the library is always welcome. And you, dear viewer, are always welcome to view this program online at MCAT.org. I'm also going to put it on our Facebook page. And welcome you back in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully Kim will have recovered from the same cold that nearly laid me low. And we'll have another show. Karl wants you back.
We need Kim back.
Well, for MCAT, I'm Joel Baird, and we'll see you the next time.